Thanks for letting me be of service. At this time, I'd like to introduce my brother, Ted J. from Dana Point. Hi, Ted.
My name is Ted, and I'm an alcoholic. And just so you know, Tim, I live in Laguna Beach now. So, hey, come visit me sometime. Okay. I don't speak very often, so bear with me. I started drinking when I was about 12. Actually, the first thing I did was smoke some pot, and immediately from the beginning, I loved the feeling, you know. And shortly thereafter, I think it was like Halloween of like '82 or something, you know. Me and a friend, you know, I stayed the night at a friend's house, and we stole a bottle of his dad's Jack Daniels or Jim Beam, something like that. And I don't know how much we drank of it, but I barely remember much of that night, except several people trying to carry me into the house. But you know, from the get-go, I loved it. You know, I loved everything about it. You know, the next day I woke up and you know I knew I'd do it again. You know, I just told myself I wouldn't do it that way again. You know, I'd just do it different. But anyways, you know, like I said, I was about 12 years old at the time, and you know, I didn't have access to a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs, or whatever. You know, I had more access to the drugs than I did the alcohol. So, you know, I basically, the bottom line is I got high, I drank every chance I could, you know, and alcohol was my favorite, and you know, and I was, you know, and it was mainly on the weekends. You know, I wasn't one of those kind of alcoholics that drank every day, you know, that drank all day. You know, when I first got sober, I was 17 years old, and actually 18 years old, excuse me, and so I didn't really, you know, have a chance to do the whole bar thing, and so money was a big issue. So I drank every chance I could, which was mostly on the weekends. But you know, when I did drink, you know, I drank until you know there wasn't anything left. You know, I drank as much as I could. I got drunk every time I drank. You know, one thing about speaking, it's one of the reasons I don't like to speak a lot, because I'm kind of embarrassed about the amount of alcohol that I did drink compared to most of the people in AA. You know, I wasn't one of those people that came in, you know, drinking mass amounts. You know, but the bottom line is when I got here, you know, I couldn't stop. You know, I wanted to stop, and every time I tried, I'd fail. And like Tim said it earlier, you know, I became a lesh. You know, I couldn't think anymore. I couldn't hardly speak to people. You know, the alcohol and the drugs weren't working anymore, and I just wanted to check out. You know, and the thought of living into next week just scared the hell out of me. You know, I couldn't imagine, you know, living feeling the way I was. You know, and like I said, you know, I couldn't drink that fear away anymore, and. So, you know, a friend of mine had gotten sober, and he'd been in one of these alcohol treatment programs for a long time. And when he got out, he started bringing me to meetings. And, you know, I'd tried different things to get sober before then. And, you know, none of them worked. And when he started bringing me to these meetings, he started bringing me to young people meetings. And at the time, you know, I was kind of into the heavy metal thing. I had long hair. And you know, he brought me to this group, and it was full of a bunch of punk rockers and, you know, and long-haired people, and you know, I just kind of felt like I fit in, you know, and I felt like I'd kind of finally found something, because I'd tried the church thing and I just couldn't quite get it there, and you know, and all these guys welcomed me with open arms, you know, and just from then on I started coming to meetings, you know, just about every day. I'd go to meetings with my friend and other people I met, and like I said, I was 18. This was back in '85, you know, and you know, and I'd stayed sober for about 9 months, and I started the relapse thing, you know, and I started going in and out, and you know, I'd put some time together. I'd get maybe 9 months or a year, or you know, I got like a year and a half at one point, and you know, I kept going back out, and you know, I come to see now is the reason why I kept going back out is I just couldn't be honest with myself. I couldn't take an honest look at myself, and I was still struggling with this alcohol thing. I still inside I was still kind of holding on to the idea that maybe I could drink again and maybe I could control and enjoy it. And on my last relapse, it's was in like June of '90, and I never want to forget what that was like, because that's when I finally after I got back from that one, I finally just realized to my inner myself that I was alcoholic, and there was nothing left for me out there. I hate to say it, but I think I needed that to pound it into my head. I hate to see people go back out. But for me, I learned some pretty valuable experiences from that. On that last relapse, I was full of so much fear. I could hardly face the guy at the liquor store, to buy the bottle, and and I couldn't drink the fear away. I couldn't drink those feelings away, and and I just I came to realize that I can't drink like normal people. I'm not a normal person, and that was one of the big lessons I learned. Is because I tried to go to bars, and I just become so withdrawn. I just couldn't do it, and it was back to that feeling that feeling of pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. I was kind of back to that place again. And in my living situation, I got caught. And I was told as either move out or get sober, and so I decided I'd try getting sober again. And part of me didn't want to. Part of me wanted to continue to drink, but. Anyways, it's probably getting close to 10 minutes. I started going back to meetings, and I hooked up with a group that I felt really comfortable with. I started, facing some things about myself that I hadn't been able to look at before. I started getting into the steps. I started getting serious about, with my sponsor. Because I'd had countless sponsors before. I counted it up, and I had like 17 some odd sponsors, and I know, and half of them, I'd get their phone number, and maybe call them once or twice, and then just stop calling them and get another sponsor, and so I made a commitment to myself this time that I'd stick with this one, and this last one I've had him for about 8 years now, so that's the record, and AA is the best thing that ever happened to me. I know I wouldn't still be in this world if it wasn't for these meetings. I can't say enough about this program and the people that I've gotten to know here, and I've gotten to know myself. There's still a lot to learn, but I have a sense of who I am today, which I never had before, and I have a higher power in my life today, and I have I have a reason to live today. If only if it's to be of love and service. My brother's sober now. And my mom's been sober. What, 16, 17 years, So, this disease definitely runs in our family, and I don't know, my mind's starting to go blank now, so I think I'll wrap it up. But I just want to welcome all the new people. Congratulations to everyone who took their chips, and thank you for allowing me to share. Leave me with it.